Hello, everybody, and welcome to another KMU podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, and joining me in Arizona is Derek. How's it going down there, Derek?
Pretty good, pretty good. Whoa, what did I just do? Okay, yeah, pretty good, man. Just hanging out. Did a little bit of work today. Kind of a windstorm out here in Phoenix tonight and today. Like it was just a lot of dust, a lot of wind. It was kind
I
of a rough
just noticed
situation.
you don't have us on KMU's Kansas Missing and Unsolved face. You don't have us broadcasting on Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook.
I
You
do.
have us on the Unsolved Homicides.
Do what? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, huh? Look up top. You have it on our YouTube, and you have it on Kansas Missing and
Oh wow.
Unsolved Homicides.
Did you add that?
No, I didn't.
I didn't
And
add
you have it
that.
on the streaming elements. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, that's my channel because I was going to. I thought I was going to KMU's page. Let me go ahead and get rid of that real quick and that's the only KMU. It says Kansas missing and unsolved. Oh no, that's tonight's. That's let me see. No, it just says unsolved homicide. That's tonight's episode. Unsolved homicide in Topeka. You're freaking me out, Ricky.
But where's Kansas Missing and Unsolved Facebook though? It's not on there.
We're on there. We're on Kansas missing unsolved Facebook.
And, are we?
We are.
As I don't show it showing it. I see we're on the YouTube.
Let me see. Connie Judd's watching on Facebook. Uh, I can double check the page real quick, but I'm pretty sure we're on
Okay.
Facebook because I haven't added any other
Yeah, are
pages.
we coming through on Kansas
Yeah,
Missing and Unsolved? It looked like
just checking in from back here. I got it in coming in from on the Facebook page, so I think
Yeah,
we're good.
Ricky, you just freaked
okay,
me out,
cool.
man.
Okay, well, because when I went up there and clicked on it, it said Unsolved Homicides.
Yeah, that's tonight's episode. It has the episode title next to it. But anyway, we're here. We're
Oh,
live.
gotcha.
We're
Okay,
doing stuff. RJ Burgess is here.
Derek's freaking me out.
I nothing changed. You just made a problem. Shayna Holstead
Oh,
found us on
my
Facebook.
apologies. It's been that kind of day.
I get it, man. It's no big deal.
Sorry about that.
How's everybody doing out there? I heard it's kind of rainy in some parts of Kansas today.
Oh
Is
yeah,
what
it's
I
been
heard.
raining here all
Yeah.
day, and it must have been raining since last night because Mother Nature woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take care of some business, and I couldn't find my dog. Usually he's laying beside my bed, and I couldn't find him, so I got up and went in to take care of business. And I turned on the bathroom light, and there he is hiding in the bathtub.
Was it
So
like thunder and everything, or was it
it must have been. I didn't hear it, but he must have. Of course, I don't sleep with my hearing aids in, so I wouldn't have heard it anyway.
right?
Unless it was really, really loud. But
RJ says been raining here all day and he's about over it. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of posts about it like raining. Hopefully, at least it's not like tornadoes or damaging wind.
yeah,
Hopefully,
it's just been a
stay away
nice,
from that.
steady rain.
Right. Shayna has COVID. Sorry to hear
Oh,
about that,
sorry to
Shayna.
hear that, Shayna.
Andrea says it's raining there all day and they're calling for more tomorrow.
Yes, they are.
Well, those farmers out there in Kansas are gonna love that. They're gonna love that.
Yes,
Um,
they are.
let's go ahead and cover some cases real quick. We want to let you know if you want us to cover any cases that you're not seeing on the show, please visit kmupod.com and let us know with our contact page there what you want us to cover and what you want to see on the show. You're watching Kansas Missing and Unsolved. We'll be right back after this.
If you or someone you know is thinking of running from home, has run away, or if you are a runaway ready to go back home, call 1 800 RUNAWAY. That's 1 800 786 2929.
Okay, we're going to talk about Alexander Perez, and we have been talking about him quite regularly. Uh, that's the one flyer I did not pull. So let me
Oh
go.
wow, didn't pull his flyer.
Yeah,
This is Kansas basically.
it's been that kind of day.
I didn't get a chance to meet him, but I am friends with Alexander's cousin, and he was actually in Phoenix this Friday, and he was doing a fight. Like it was crazy. It was like a professional event, but it was like out in the middle of the desert, and it was just like 100 people. And then there was like one fight at a time, and it was just like a bunch of people in the middle, two people in the middle of a circle. It looked very scary to me, but it was like a professional fighting event. And my buddy, Alexander's cousin, he was in a draw, so there was no winner, but they beat each other up pretty good. But yeah, I've been talking to him a little bit. They're still hoping to hear something soon about what's going on with Alexander. But go ahead and tell us about his flyer.
Okay. He was missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st of 2020. He was 35 when he went missing. He's now 36. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald, and brown eyes. He'd contacted a family member via phone on December 1st and advised he'd be coming to their home to do laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses, and he's not been heard from or seen by family members since then. He had been staying with family and friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed that at one point in time he was still in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in Garden City or the surrounding areas. We do know that some not so good information has come out about what might have happened to him, but until we know for sure, we're not going to get into that. Again, at the time of his disappearance, he was 35. He's now 36. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds. He has black hair that nearly shaves bald and brown eyes. Has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If anybody has any information regarding Alexander's disappearance or his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500 or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get him located and back home.
Yeah, it's just been coming on here in like 7 months. It'll be 2 years when it hits December again. I made a post on Garden City's like their gossip chat page. Like I'm still a member of that, even though I haven't been there for several years. And I posted Alexander's flyer. And a woman had commented. She said, "Oh, I've heard a lot about Alexander. Mainly that I've heard that he's not alive anymore, and I've heard some rumors about where he might be." And I didn't comment on it. I try to stay out of things, but several people, queued in immediately. They're like, "Hey, if you have a location of where he might be, that's information that would be good for the police to know." And the person was like sort of thinking about going to the police. But it just shows you like how many people actually know what's going on when these things happen. If something foul happened to Alexander, a lot of people know stuff, and it just, we talk about it every week, but until the public can trust the police and go to the police with their information, and people have a lot of reasons why they don't talk to police. One, they're probably, snitches get stitches. That's number one. Two, you don't want to be a rat, all that stuff. But if you're willing to post on a public place like Facebook that you might know where his remains might be, definitely tell that to a police officer. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be a first thing. And hopefully that person does contact law enforcement. And a lot of times it's just rumor and stuff like that. But to know that when I posted that flyer, that people in Garden City are still talking about Alexander, it made me happy to know that his name's not being forgotten, and people are definitely talking all over town about what might have happened.
Yeah, I'm glad they're still talking too.
Yeah, Connie, we are going to cover Kenny here in just a little bit. All right, and then we're back on Stream Elements. That's my Twitch page that Ricky kicked me off of because he told me we were at the wrong place. Ricky, you gave me a full-blown panic attack, man. So thanks a lot for that. So how do you spell? Is this? I'm not even gonna. Ajani?
I think it's Ajane.
Ajane, that makes sense. Okay, Go ahead and tell us about Ajane.
All right, we've actually had her on in the past. I just got contacted yesterday that she got missing again. So is her sister Ashante. Ajane is missing from Topeka since May 13th of 2022. She's 15. She is 5'7" to 5'9", 230 pounds. She has brown hair that's last known to be dyed black and brown eyes. It's believed she may still be in the Topeka area. And if anybody has any information regarding Ajane's disappearance or her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be, as well as her sister Ashante.
Right. Pretty young.
Yeah.
Pretty young to be unaccounted for. And I've been trying to, on some of these flyers that you're going to see tonight were made a few weeks, if not months ago. Some of the newer ones you're going to see that I'm putting these case numbers pretty large, so we can get those out there. Those are going to be very paramount. The people you're calling might not know who Nene is, but they definitely can look up that case number.
Right. And a little bit later, we're also going to be talking about a trafficking situation that happened down in Dallas as well.
Let's cover one more case and let's talk about that real quick. Tell us about Alicia.
Okay. This is one just a few hours ago, actually. She is missing from Wichita, Kansas since yesterday, May 23rd, 2022. She's 12 years old, 4'10", 90 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She went missing last night about 9:30. She was last night to be wearing a white hooded jacket and blue jeans. If you have any information regarding Alicia's disappearance or her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-268-4111 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Alicia found and back home where she needs to be.
I apologize to our Reddit viewers. I didn't realize when I changed screens it would. And we're trying to figure out a cleaner way to get to Reddit, by the way, but we're working with what we have. But yeah, 12 years old. That's rough. That's rough. How did you hear about this case?
This one I was actually contacted in my email today about it from one of my sources that gets a hold of me about doing cases.
Okay. Well, that's very scary. Way too young to be out and about, especially in Wichita like that. It's really scary. Nisi Jones says so many local kids that go missing are either kids in foster care or kids fleeing a bad home situation before they are locked into foster care. Foster care is rarely ever a positive environment. Luckily, kids probably 1 in a million. I agree with you. I'm in the thinking camp that the foster care situation needs to be overhauled, but there's also good people like Ricky is an example of adoption, and he has daughters that are he's had forever, and he adopted them. So you can't just put a blanket over like the whole system's messed up. I do agree that it needs some overhauling, but I think anything needs overhauling. But yeah, I do appreciate the people like Ricky that are out there making a difference.
Yeah, we tried.
Right.
We did foster a teenager for a while, and it got to be a little hairy there for a little bit, so we had to have her replaced someplace else. And she, after a time, after she matured a few years, she ran into my now ex-wife at a store one day and apologized to her for how she treated us and did us and stuff like that. So we must have did something right.
Right. I mean, you got to be,
And to this day, whenever I see her, I just saw her within this last week, actually, at where I work at, and she gave me a hug like she always does.
Nice.
So
I like it, man. Well, I want to cover this human trafficking case. Let's take a quick break. You're watching KMU Pod. Visit us at kmupod.com.
If you or someone you know is a victim of human trafficking, please call the National Human Trafficking Line at 1-888-373-7888.
And we're back.
My ends running things slow, but oh my goodness. Yeah, this was a situation that happened in Dallas back on April 8th. I thought it was a little more recent than that, but it was last month on April 8th. 15-year-old girl went to. She was at a Dallas Mavericks game with her dad, and got up to go to the restroom by herself, and she never came back to her seat. And apparently, video surveillance, when they checked surveillance, showed her leaving with an adult male. Well, of course, her dad became frantic and got a hold of police, filed a missing persons report, and stuff like that. And this article here goes in a little more detail. It says 6 women and 2 men are facing charges in the sex trafficking and abduction of a 15-year-old girl who left her dad at a Mavericks basketball game in Dallas last month to use the restroom. She was tracked down 10 days later in an Oklahoma City hotel 200 miles away after the nonprofit Texas Counter Trafficking Initiative, contacted by her parents, found nude photos of her on a website known for prostitution. The girl's parents are heartsick for their child and furious with Dallas police, who they said dismissed their concerns about their missing daughter, according to the family's attorney, Zeke Fortenberry. The girl's father immediately contacted security at the American Airlines Center Arena when his daughter went missing, and the parents repeatedly contacted Dallas police to find the girl, Fortenberry said in a statement earlier this month. Dallas police never began an investigation and failed to make any effort to locate the teenage girl, nor even bother to obtain a photograph of her, said Fortenberry. A Dallas police spokesperson told Fox News Friday that an officer at the arena searched for the teen there when her father reported her missing. Police also cited Texas Family Code, which they said dictates that missing juveniles be considered runaways unless there are circumstances which appear as involuntary, such as a kidnapping or abduction. The case was filed in the suburb where the teen lives, some 30 minutes from the stadium, and information was included in the local police bulletin. My daughter went missing in the city of Dallas. This is a Dallas case, but they refused to open a case for her, the girl's father said. Fortenberry said that the systems and organizations involved in this case continually failed the victim. She should never have had contact with the man at the Mavericks game. Dallas police should have worked quickly to investigate leads and locate the teenager before she was trafficked to Oklahoma. The teen was found by Oklahoma City police after they were alerted about the internet photos by the Texas Counter Trafficking Initiative. They arrested 8 suspects last month. A number of them had significant criminal histories. These are very bad players we're talking about, said Gary Knight of the Oklahoma City Police Department. The suspects have been hit with a variety of charges, from rape to human trafficking to distributing child porn to offering to engage in prostitution. The victim's life will forever be changed. We hope to hold accountable those responsible and create change within these organizations so that this never happens to another child, Fortenberry said in a statement. The teen's mom thanked the Oklahoma City police for their help. We are thankful for the work of the Oklahoma City Police Department and the recovery of our daughter. The girl's mother said, "My heart breaks for the unimaginable things my daughter had to endure for the 11 days she was taken, and I'm so glad she's safe as we work towards her recovery." And that article was actually on the HuffPost originally. And it just, it blew my mind when I read that. It's like I've talked about on here several times, and there's the 8 right there that were arrested right there, 6 females, 2 males, that, law enforcement needs to get out of the mindset of, oh, they just ran away. They need to, in my opinion, they need to investigate it as, the worst case scenario first and work backward towards, well, they just ran away, instead of just automatically assuming. Because look at this situation. She's at a basketball game with her dad. She goes to the restroom and this guy takes her. It's just crazy. And it's just like, even here in Kansas, when, we cover a lot of missing endangered runaways. And what I'm curious, I respect law enforcement and everything they do. I know they bust their butts. They have a lot on their plates. They catch a lot of flack, and I've been a big supporter of law enforcement for a long time, but I think they really need to, that might have been the case 40, 50 years ago when you can say, oh, they just ran away. But with the internet, with cell phones and all that stuff, even if they did, just run away, were they talking to somebody online that may have talked them into it, may have coerced them into doing it? There's always that element that, you can't let that element, slip from your mind. They need to look at their social media. They need to look at their messenger. They need to look at their text messages. Were they talking to somebody they shouldn't have been? Eliminate that possibility right off the bat, and then say, okay, well, maybe they did just run away.
All right. It's scary, man. I got a niece who's a sophomore, and the crap she tells me. We have a pretty open, really. She tells me about stuff at school, and pretty scary what kids are dealing with these days, man. Like I thought it was bad when I was in high school in like 2000,
Right.
but no, man. Like, and it's there's always been a problem with kids getting involved with dark stuff in high school. That's always been a problem.
Oh, yeah.
It just seems like with fentanyl these days, it's just so sudden. Like the consequences are so severe and so sudden.
Yeah.
It just scares me when kids are out, lost, upset, or afraid, or anxious, or whatever they're dealing with
Mhm.
mentally, and they feel like turning to like maybe a drug would alleviate their problems. And usually
Yeah.
that's okay, but if it's that one time where you get fentanyl and you die, and like that's
Yeah.
that's the end. So I just think that kids these days. I have a buddy who lost his son up in Overland Park, and he died 6 days after his 18th birthday. Took one pill, first time he ever took a pill,
Oh,
died.
wow.
And
Damn.
it's kids these days have such a Russian roulette relationship with
Wow.
drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't know if it's their last time every time they do it. So I just, if you're out there and you're struggling, please get help. Please talk to somebody,
Yeah.
and please don't take anything that you don't know what it is. That's
You know,
the
and-
number one thing I can tell you.
And even if a juvenile does run away, I mean, and they do it on their own accord, still need to intervene and find them to keep them from encountering anything that could be a danger to them out there, whether it be, predators or traffickers or drugs or whatever,
Right.
Need to intervene and get them found before they can fall into that.
Right. I do want to say hi to Kaylee. She was here earlier. And then
Yeah.
Donda's over there in YouTube land. Is Trisha here tonight? I haven't seen her.
I haven't seen her. See, Nisi, I like Nisi, her comment here. We don't like calling teens runaways. I don't either. And I know my flyers, I say, as a missing endangered runaway. And I reluctantly started doing that because one law enforcement agency didn't like the fact that I was just outright calling them missing because they were catching a lot of flack. So they asked me to incorporate the runaway verbiage in there. So
Right.
I thought, okay, I'll say, missing endangered runaway.
Right.
And then it goes on to say who is missing from,
Right.
So I reiterate missing, even though I include the endangered runaway, I still say missing.
Nisi says, if law enforcement weren't so scary, then more people would apply to work for law enforcement. If people felt they could trust the rule of law enforcement, there wouldn't be so much paranoia, defensiveness, and aggression. I wish more nice people with patience would apply for all of these open law enforcement positions. I think you're right. I think that there's obviously a problem with the mental health of some of our officers. Like I feel like we need to discuss things, and at the end of the day, it's easy to point fingers and stuff. But I just appreciate that these flyers are being shared and stuff. Like whatever the circumstances are, whatever the circumstances are, people are missing. So that's what's scary, and we got to take it seriously. Did we do Ashanti yet, or because I can't?
No,
remember.
we haven't done her yet. No.
Okay, let's go ahead and talk about Ashanti.
Yeah. Nisi, when she was talking about, we were talking about earlier about the foster care and everything, she was saying she appreciates me, and then she said, apparently I'm one in a million.
Right.
Thank you, Nisi. I appreciate that. You're very welcome.
Nisi says being a cop is hard if you're a good one, and then Connie Judd says they need to have special units to find missing people. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And the sad thing about that, speaking of that, I just was reading where I think I believe it's Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. They have such a shortage of officers on hand, they're disbanding their missing person unit. And then they're going to put it missing. I guess Homicide is going to investigate missing persons now, I guess, until they can get more officers hired, and then they'll reinstate it. But for now, it's been disbanded there for the time being. I read that and I went, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
And anyhow, we're going to go on to Arjune's sister, Ashanti. She's also missing from Topeka since May 19th of 2022. She's 17. She is 5'8", 125 pounds. She has brown hair that is dyed red, but it is fading. And she has brown eyes. I believe she's still in the Topeka area as well. If you have any information regarding Ashanti's disappearance, her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247. We're 785-368-9551. We're 785-368-9200. or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get her and Ajane found and back to where they need to be.
Right. It's not uncommon for us to see siblings on here.
Yeah, we've had it a few times actually.
Yeah, it happens.
It's interesting.
Wow, let me see. See if we have any comments. JP and Liz Perez says, thank you guys for all you do. Thanks for being here.
Yep, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here.
And we are going to cover Michael Golub later, so if you stick around, we'll cover his case.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, I was coughing. Tell us about Blake Kaler.
Yeah, okay, doke. We've had him on here before as well. It's been a while. He's missing from Holton, Kansas since May 22nd of 2022. He's 16, 6 foot tall, weighs between 225 and 250, has brown hair and brown eyes. It's believed he may still be in the local Holton area, or he may be in rural northeast Kansas, or possibly trying to get to Montana. If you have any information regarding Blake's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the Holton, Kansas Police Department at 785-364-2174 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get him located back to where he needs to be. The first time we had him on here, he was actually missing from Montana and was believed to be here. So apparently now he's living here, and they're thinking maybe he's either up in northeast Kansas or maybe trying to get back to Montana. So
I wonder what that connection is. Maybe his folks are living one here, one there, maybe, or
that could be. That could be.
That's a tough situation. You know, when I was 18, I decided to move away from home. I did it somewhat the right way. Like, I didn't really have any money, which is never smart, but I asked my parents if I could get on a bus and move out to the East Coast. It's where I met Brandon, but it was several years later. But I got on a Greyhound bus to leave Lawrence, Kansas, and take like 5 days on a bus, sit in an upright position to get to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. But when I got to when I left Lawrence, Kansas, I was sitting next to this kid. I was 18. This kid was probably 15. And he was telling me, he was kind of being vague, but he said he was going to Seattle to visit his mom. And I was kind of thought it was a little weird that a 15-year-old kid would be, you know, with a bag full of like everything you can tell that meant something to him and on a bus by himself across country. And it didn't take long of prying. I remember he had a Discman and he had one CD, and he told me he liked rock and roll. And so I kind of pried it out of him. I was like, "You're running away, aren't you?" And he's like, "Please don't turn me in." And I was like, "Why are you running away?" And he says, "Because my dad won't stop hurting me." So I did not turn him in. So that's the thing we have to realize, you know. Yes, we want these people to be found. Yes, we want these people to be saved. But in no way whatsoever do we want any child to go back into an environment where they are being manipulated or hurt or abused. So that's one thing that, you know, I always like to say each week. Like, if you're one of these young people that we show on the screen and you're running from something, please contact the page, please contact police, please contact KBI, let them know that there's some kind of abuse going on at home and you don't want to go back there. We don't want anybody to be missing, we don't want anybody to be unaccounted for, but we don't want anybody being forced to be returned to a abusive situation. But if you've seen Blake Kaler, sounds like maybe he might have went back to where he's from. But again, he's 16. He's a big dude, 6 foot tall, 225, 250, big dude. Looks like he's capable of taking care of himself, but he's 16. He needs to be accounted for, and people are worried about him.
I have to admit that thought has crossed my mind a lot over the last 10 years. You know, am I helping get somebody put back into an abusive situation by helping them get located? But you know, I've never heard of anything like that ever happening, so I don't know. But I just, like you say, it's not my intent or our intent to do that. Just trying to get them found.
Hey guys, I'm doing a podcast, boys. Please be quiet. Sorry about that. I'm doing it from my studio is in my closet, so I have to yell out to my kids. Yeah, I it's crazy. I've never told that story ever. And I just kind of thought about it just now because you said that kid, was in one state and they couldn't find him and they thought maybe he's in Kansas.
Right.
Now they know he's in Kansas. Now they think he might. I just think about, and I don't know anything about Blake's life. I'm not trying to, project that he's being abused. I'm just saying, like, it made me think about that time when I could have turned somebody in and maybe helped the police stop a runaway, but I believed him when he said his dad was hurting him, and I was like, dude, get the hell out of here. Go to Seattle. I was like, go to your mom. So we do understand there's two sides of everything. Tell us about Daniela, Everest, Kansas, one of those towns I've never heard of still.
I haven't either, but I was asked to cover her and a few others because I still haven't been able to locate her yet. Daniela Bella Herrera, I guess she goes by Bella. She's been missing from Everest, Kansas since January 26th of 2022. She's 16. She's 5'5", 130 pounds, has brown hair, brown eyes. It's believed she may be in the Atchison, Kansas area, Horton, Kansas area, or Troy, Kansas area, or I don't know what this means exactly, rural Kansas or Nebraska areas. So I'm not exactly, that was the information I was given. So they didn't really elaborate. So if you have any information regarding Daniela's disappearance, you know of her whereabouts, please call the Brown County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-742-7125 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Daniela located and back to where she needs to be, because I know they're really trying to find her.
Right.
Almost reminds me of Kevin Kaler and not being able to get anything found out about her either.
Well, have we still haven't heard anything on Heaven?
Not a word.
Wow.
Not a word.
You'd think there'd be more. I don't know. Yeah, in January, I mean, to me, it's just like a 16-year-old kid being unaccounted for what are we going on 5 months now? 4 months.
Yeah,
it's scary. Especially knowing anybody willing to hide a 16-year-old girl that's known to be missing. It's probably might be a sketchy person. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, we don't know what Daniela is. If she is missing on her own accord, we don't know what her reason for taking off is, and that's the most important thing. So, yeah, Daniela, if you see this, please just contact somebody. If you can't go back because of something going on, contact our page. You can go to kmupod.com. We can get you in contact with somebody, and you can also just visit kmupod.com and go to the Get Help page, and there's several resources there available. Mainly geared towards young people in situations like you might be in. So definitely check that out. I do want us to take a break real quick, Ricky.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and check in with Brandon real quick. He's going to tell us about Colton Barrera. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Brandon, producer of the Kansas Missing and Unsolved podcast, and today I want to talk about one of our outstanding cases, Colton Ross Barrera. Colton went missing from Russell, Kansas on September 26th of 2008. He was 17 at the time he disappeared. He would now be 31. He's 5 foot 9 inches tall and weighs 135 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. A friend dropped him off at an outdoor skate park, and Colton was supposed to call his friend when he wanted to be picked up, but he never did. Authorities believe he left on his own accord, but Colton's family does not believe this because he wasn't having any problems that would cause him to run away, and he left his wallet and identification behind. Recent information suggests that Colton may have been killed and his body hidden. Colton's case remains unsolved. If you have any information regarding Colton's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call Russell County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 785-483-2151 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 or the FBI at 816-512-8200. And let's work together and get Colton back home.
Yeah, and per Colton's mother's request, she wants to have everybody call the FBI first to try to get them re-involved in the case. So call the 816-512-8200 first, so they can get the FBI back involved on the case again. On that one. And we're going to move on to Deidre Phillips, which is one that I did today. She's missing from Kansas City, Kansas since May 22nd, 2022. She's 18, 5'4" to 5'5", weighs between 140 and 150 pounds. She has black hair and brown eyes. And we have covered her in the past, and she had been located, but she's missing again. So if you have any information regarding Deidre's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be.
In Kansas City, Kansas.
Yep. KCK.
Yeah, I mean, she's 18. You know, 18 is pretty young, but you know, she's 18, so you know, a lot of school of thought is like, well, if you're 18, you don't have to tell anybody where you are.
Right.
But obviously, somebody's worried. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Thanks for the love, JP and Liz Perez. Dina Garcia wants to know if we're covering any homicides tonight.
I can't remember. I don't think so.
I don't think so. I can maybe throw one in. Give us a few minutes. I'll look through our catalog and see who we can feature, and send Ricky a private message on who to pull up. But tell us about, is it Dimitrik?
Yeah, Dimitrik. Yeah.
We see Parsons so much.
Yeah. I'm 14. Trying to look at. There he is. He's missing from Parsons, Kansas since May 16th of 2022. He's 14. He's 5'5", 110 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. It's believed he may still be in the Parsons area, or he may be in the Independence, Kansas area. If you have any information regarding Dimitrik's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, please call the Parsons, Kansas Police Department. It's 620-421-7060 or 620-421-7057. Or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get him located and back to where he needs to be.
Youngster. Where is Parsons?
Don't know.
Do you know? You don't know?
I looked it up once. Let me look it up again real fast so I can find out.
Because we see it often. We see Parsons all the time.
Yeah.
Right. Well, while we're waiting for that to load, I wanted to show you this little clip that Brandon made. It's a way for everybody to check out our new website. There's tons of stuff on there. Check this out. We would love everybody to visit KMU Pod. It's Kansas Missing Unsolved.com, but you can get there with just KMUpod.com. But yeah, really looking forward to people checking that out. And
got a few new comments down there. Amanda Cunningham saying hello from Texas.
Hello.
And Esther Enru. Yeah, Parsons is down in southeast Kansas between Independence and Pittsburgh. And, and Connie is down past Fort Scott. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Scott Messerschmidt says Parsons, Kansas, Highway 59. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, hopefully Dimitrik is found safe. That's always scary. We've covered Eli Hopkins in the past, obviously. I think maybe have we covered him before March, or is this a second time?
He he had a flyer prior to that, and then I didn't realize he'd been located, and he went missing again. So I was asked to cover him again.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, wait a minute, he went missing again. So I had to verify that, and he did, in fact, go missing again. So
I can't mute myself on Reddit, so everybody's going to hear me opening my Diet Mountain Dew. But go ahead.
all right, he's missing from Topeka, Kansas since March 16th of 2022. He's 17. He's 6'1", 220, blonde or strawberry hair and blue eyes. He uses the name Eli Hopkins. He doesn't use the Mitchell so much. He's suspected to be either in Jefferson, Jackson, or Shawnee counties in Kansas. If you have any information regarding Eli's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9200 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get him located and back to where he needs to be. This is one of those other ones where we're asked to highlight him on the show again.
Somebody reached out and asked us to share it again.
There's still that I have a flyer up for. There's still one of the two sisters that were missing that's still missing here in town, and I'm trying to think of her name. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to look because I just cannot click the name in my head right now. The last few days I've been making a lot of flyers.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a couple months ago, so that's something we need to take into consideration,
Look real fast here. The fastest way I know how to do it anyway. Jasmine Trumbull. Yeah, Jasmine Trumbull is still missing from here in town.
She's still missing.
Yeah. So yeah, but her younger sister had been found. Yes. Whose phone do I keep hearing going doo-doo-doo?
Sorry about that. I had to go in the other room and tell my kids to turn the TV. My wife is working tonight, so I'm solo. My brother's here, but he's cooking. It was really I don't know if you heard it, but my kid had turned his TV up to 3600 like a volume level.
I didn't even hear it.
Walls were shaking.
All I hear is a phone going doo-doo-doo.
That means my wife's home, so I'm feeling a lot more calm right now. That's my phone telling me, hey, your wife is like pretty close to the house, so start cleaning, basically, is what that means. Let's go ahead and talk about Yesenia.
Okay, that's another one I was asked.
That's old. That's January. Wow.
Yeah, I was asked to revisit her case, so I said, sure, we will do it. Yesenia Gonzalez is missing from Topeka, Kansas, January 3rd, 2022. She's 15, 5'3", weighs between 125 and 140. She has dark brown hair and dark brown eyes. It's believed she's still in the Topeka area. I don't know if this information is still accurate, but at the time that I made the flyer in January, she had a broken foot and was wearing a walking boot. Don't know if that still applies or not. I would think after 5 months, probably not, but I don't know. Again, she's 15 years old. She's 5'3", weighs between 125 and 140 pounds. She has dark brown hair and dark brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Yesenia's disappearance or you know of her whereabouts, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department, 785-368-9247 or 785-368-9551 or 785-368-9200 or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be as well.
Amanda Cunningham says, is it me or is the number of missing people just extremely high? As a teen or younger, I don't recall seeing so many missing. Well, Ricky, you've been doing this for 10 years.
Yeah.
Is it more busy right now than usual?
It actually started picking up the last few days, and I don't know if that's in correlation to school districts being done for the year or not. I really don't know, but it seems like the last few days I've been busier, so I don't know. I think I've probably done, let's see, I did 3 today, I did 4 last night, and I think 4 or 5 the night before. So,
hey, my favorite true crime junkies here, Kelsey.
Yay. Hey, Kelsey. How are you doing?
Connie Judd says yes. Wow, that's just rough.
Every time I see Connie Judd's name, I think of Sheriff Grady Judd in Florida. I like him. He is something else. Okay, this
How do
one
you say
here
that? Jemiah?
is. I'm guessing Jemiah or Jamia. Jemiah. Probably Jemiah. She's missing from Wichita, Kansas since May 19th of 2022. She's 13, 5'2", 120 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She went missing about 4:50 p.m. on the 22nd. If you have any information regarding Jamia's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9452 or 316-660-9456 or 316-268-4111 or KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get Jemiah located and back to where she needs to be. And hopefully, if possible, maybe we can get another photo or two of Jemiah. That was the only one that I was sent. So
Right.
hopefully we can get another photo or two. But there goes your phone
just
again.
Sad to see, these anybody under 16. I'm just like, that's scary. But this girl's 13 years old, man.
I know.
Well, hopefully, and I do think it has. Well, yeah, in the main, I think it does have something to do with school being out. Like
it might.
I don't
That
know.
and warmer weather and stuff like that, I'm sure factors into it. Not so many days of below freezing temperatures.
Right.
It's all nice nights and warmer days.
Well, Jemiah, if you see this, better ways to work through your problems. Again, if there's anything going on at home that is not good, please report it to the police. You can tell us. We'll hook you up with somebody that can help you. But being out on your own at 13 and around any kind of adult that is willing to let you stay there knowing that you're missing, they probably definitely don't have your best interest at heart. So just please go somewhere safe. Let somebody know you're okay.
Yeah, definitely.
JP and Liz Perez says, sad to think they are out in the world fending for themselves. As a mom of 2 teenage girls, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, I hear you there.
Diana Hayden says, I don't like seeing any missing, but these super young ones scare me so much.
Yeah, me too, Diana. Me too. And it makes me wonder what's going on in their young lives is so bad that they gotta, go missing. Especially this day and age.
Ellen Dodson's here. Well, let's go ahead and talk about Dana Jane Bruce. We've covered her quite a bit in the last few weeks, but well-deserved. Obviously, Sedalia has not come up with an answer for this for quite some time, so we definitely like covering this case as often as possible.
Right. Yeah, Dana Jane Bruce is missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th of 2008. She was 23 when she went missing. She would now be 36. She's 5'2", 98 pounds. Brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She had left the children there earlier in the day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch children for the rest of the night. Dana was seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with the man at 11:30 p.m. Police have ID'd the man that she was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her again after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She doesn't have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She'd now be 36. She's 5'2", weighs 98 pounds, has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots, black at the ends with red highlights, and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100, or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178, or their toll-free number is 866-362-6422, and see if we can't help find out where Dana is so she can be brought back home. And there is Ellen saying, how are you all? Doing okay. Just trying to stay dry, Ellen. It's raining like cats and dogs here.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we cover it every week because it's just after that many years, 13 years, it's just hard to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I hope JP and Liz Perez are still here because they are kin to Michael Golub. Let's go ahead and talk about Michael Eugene Golub.
Okay. He is missing from Stanton County, Kansas since May 20th, 2005. He was 27 when he went missing. He would now be 44, 6'2", weighs between 165 and 180 pounds, has brown hair and blue eyes. He just finished work at his job at Kramer Harvesting, was supposed to pick up his 5-year-old son at his ex-girlfriend's home, but he never arrived there. He has never been heard from again. He left behind a fiancée with whom he had an infant child. It is uncharacteristic of him to leave without warning. Michael's gold and brown Chevy S10 pickup truck with toolboxes and Trago County, Kansas license plate was found abandoned on a county road in northwest Grant County, Kansas, 2 days after his disappearance. Following the truck's location, authorities began investigating Michael's disappearance as a potential homicide. Shannon Floyd, Michael's ex-girlfriend, and her husband, Chad Floyd, were arrested and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder in Michael's case in June 2006. Authorities believe he went to their home and was shot to death on the night of his disappearance. There was a great deal of animosity between Shannon and Michael as they frequently disagreed over child support and visitation issues relating to their son. Michael's blood was found on the Floyd's front porch. The Floyd's defense attorney said there was insufficient proof that Michael was dead and suggested he had committed suicide or left of his own accord. At the couple's July 2007 trial, the jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict, and a mistrial was declared. The second trial also ended with the jury unable to reach a verdict. Michael's body has never been found, but foul play is suspected in his case due to the circumstances involved. If you have any information regarding Michael's disappearance, you know his whereabouts, please call the KBI at 1-800-572-7463 or 785-296-4017 and let them know what information you have regarding Michael's case and see if we can't get him found and back to his family.
Talk about a wild ride this case is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been covered by large media, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, blood on the porch. And then the lawyer. I would love to know what that lawyer knows, you know, just like, because it's kind of contradicting. There's not enough evidence to say Michael's dead, but he killed himself. What are you talking about? You just said there's no evidence to say he's dead, but you're saying, oh, but he definitely, like, to me, that's just, the whole thing stinks. And the fact that, in my opinion, how that trial happened in Stanton County, Kansas, I will never understand. You know, the guy that was on trial was a hometown boy, big famous last name. And then you have California Mike, who's an outsider. That trial should have never happened in Stanton County, Kansas. And yeah, it's just a tragedy. You know, here we are how many years later? I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And his family just has nothing, you know. And I don't know the rules. I don't even know if there can be another trial. What is the rules in America? Like after 2 trials, can you go for a third, or maybe Double T knows something about that? He can tell us in the private chat. I don't know what the deal is. I think
if they dismiss the charges without prejudice, they can refile, but I'm not sure. And actually, from my math, it looks like he's been missing actually 17 years as of 4 days ago. So,
right. And
Dina Garcia is asking.
Yeah, it's because you know what, Dina, I'm sorry. So when I scheduled the show every week. I pick a flyer, and then like clockwork, every week I forget to add that flyer to the show. And then Ricky usually tells me. So thank you for I'll get that in there right now. We'll actually cover that right now. Let me go ahead and get it pulled up.
Yeah,
That's just
let me grab
me
that flyer real quick.
naming the show that, and then being like, okay, that's going to be on there. And then I upload all the other ones the day of the show, and I that's the one I always forget. Let me go ahead.
He
and
does
get it
that
pulled up real
frequently.
quick.
I have to admit.
I'm telling you, it's quite a bit that it happens. I apologize for any miscommunication. Let me go ahead and get that going real quick. Where did I put it? There we go. Gotcha. All right, and we'll go ahead and cover Juan's flyer.
Okay, I've got it.
Okay, let me scoot it up in the ranks there. Okay, let's go ahead and cover Juan. And again, I apologize for that. I do it every week, Dina. I am sorry about that.
Juan Solis, September 5th, 2013, Topeka, Kansas. Juan was a longtime employee of Boss Hogg's Barbecue Restaurant and Pigskin Sports Bar in Topeka. He was wounded once in the chest around 6:35 a.m. September 5th, 2013, at a one-story residence at 447 Northeast Arter. Police said the shooting occurred during a home invasion at the residence located at the southwest corner of Northeast State and Arter, a couple blocks west of Philip Billard Municipal Airport property. Juan was taken to by American Medical Response ambulance to a local hospital in critical condition. The police said Juan was speaking while he was in the ambulance. He died a short time later at the hospital. If you have information regarding Juan's death, please call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9551 or Topeka Crime Stoppers at 785-234-0007. And last I knew, the family was offering a $25,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible for Juan's death. I don't know if that's increased or not, but at minimum $25,000 reward until I hear different. So if anybody has any information, no matter how small a piece of information you might think that might be, call it anyway, because it might be a huge piece of the puzzle that they need to point them in the right direction in this investigation.
You know, it's like, unless, I don't know what the family knows, and you know that the police are only going to tell the media, what they want people to know. And anybody I know we got a lot of Juan's family here tonight, it looks like, and that's awesome. We're glad you're here, and thank you so much for reminding me that I forgot to load his flyer. I do it every week.
Elizabeth Gomez is saying his family's listening. Thanks for covering after all.
Yes,
You're very welcome.
I do that every week. Ricky has to tell me. But to me, it's like, unless Juan had like some type of situation where maybe he was sketched out, maybe he was worried somebody wanted to hurt him, or if it's just like a 6:35 a.m., like that's it's kind of an odd time to rob somebody, like, I don't know anything. I'm not like an expert or anything, but that's kind of an odd time to rob somebody. To me, 6:35 a.m., that's personal. You know what I mean? Like that's going and catching somebody while they're sleeping. And then even though he's speaking in the ambulance, I mean, he got shot, like, and if it was 6:35, I know that if somebody came into my house at 6:35 a.m. and shot me, I don't care if I'm talking, I probably couldn't tell you what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're not awake. So it's just a tragedy, it's and that happens all the time. You're talking to the victim and you're like, you want him to tell you what happened, but he probably had no idea. But I would love to learn more about this case, and we're going to cover it as often as we can. And I'm glad I chose this case this week. It's up to me to pick the headline case each week, and this one spoke to me. I was looking through our hundreds of flyers earlier this week, and Juan's flyer spoke to me, so I'm glad we covered it.
Yeah, I'm glad we covered it too. It's been a while since we've actually covered him, so I'm glad we got him back in there again.
Right.
We should keep covering him from time to time to keep him fresh in people's minds and let people know we haven't forgot him.
Right. We do have a couple more flyers to share, then we will get out of here. I want to run this ad real quick. You're watching KMUpod.com. We'll be right back after this.
If you or someone you know is thinking of running from home, has run away, or if you are a runaway ready to go back home, call 1-800-RUNAWAY. That's 1-800-786-2929.
All right, we're going to talk about Stephanie Welch, who was missing from Lakin, Kansas since February 28th, 2001. She was 23 when she went missing. She's now 44, 5'8", 190 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Stephanie dropped off her youngest son off at his daycare in Lakin at approximately 9:15 a.m. on February 28, 2001. Earlier, she dropped her older child off at preschool. Authorities believe that she drove back to the mobile home she was preparing to vacate shortly afterwards. Stephanie may have returned to the property to remove some of her and her children's personal belongings. She's never been heard from again. Stephanie was engaged to Roy Moore in early 2001 and was planning to move out of her mobile home and into his house. She was driving his silver 1990 Mazda 626 at the time of her disappearance. Moore's vehicle was discovered abandoned in the private driveway of a mobile home in southeast Lakin at approximately 11 a.m. Witnesses said that an unidentified man dressed in all black walked away from the car shortly afterwards. Authorities do not believe Stephanie knew anyone inside the park and theorize that someone else drove Moore's car to the location. Her jacket and her wallet, which contained $500, was discovered on the front seat of the car. The wheel wells were covered in snow and mud, and someone drove the car for miles before parking it in the driveway. Moore picked up Stephanie's son from the daycare after she failed to return by 6 p.m. He had learned that his vehicle had been abandoned earlier in the day after reporting Stephanie's disappearance later during the evening. An extensive search of the area produced no clues as to Stephanie's whereabouts. Investigators believe she may have been murdered between the time she dropped off her son and the time Moore's vehicle was discovered. Authorities said that her remains could have been hidden in numerous locations. Several abandoned wells were scattered throughout the area. The man who was seen leaving her car is considered the prime suspect in her disappearance. If you have any information regarding Stephanie's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kearney County Sheriff's Office at 620-355-6211 or the KBI at 800-572-7463 and see if we can't help get Stephanie located and back to her family where she needs to be.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to Reddit. We have Crime Fighter watching. Thanks for tuning in. Let me see. He says, society appreciates you. Crime Fighter, if there's any lag in me talking to Reddit people, it's because I'm dumb and I'm trying to like broadcast to 3 places at once. So I appreciate you watching, and yeah, please continue commenting, and I will try to read those as much. We do have this comment over here on Facebook. It says, are you in contact with Stephanie's family or friends? Are they advocating for her? So I just remembered this, and the reason I shared Stephanie's flyer tonight is because I forget who it was, but somebody about 2 weeks ago called me on the phone. It happens all the time. People call me all the time and talk to me about, these cases and stuff. And they said, hey, you guys need to cover Stephanie Welch more often. And I was like, okay, what's up? And they said her daughter watches the show.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if that's true, but when you read the flyer, they talk about her older child, apparently she watches the show. So,
Wow.
we're going to throw this in rotation as often as possible.
Yeah.
But I've never been in contact with her daughter. I don't know if it's true, but somebody reached out to me and said that Stephanie's daughter watches the show and she's a fan.
Well, if that was her older daughter and she was preschool at the time, let's say roughly 4, and it's been 21 years, that means she's in her mid-20s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if she's watching now, we're going to keep, spreading the word about your mom. And, it's just tragic that this happened that long ago. It's just really crazy. No problem, Nisi. Connie Judge, she says, Kenny, I hope next. And you are right on the money there, Connie. Yes. He is next. So go tell us about our buddy Kenny.
I like getting Kenny in there because, it is kind of a little bit of a personal case to me because I did have a passing acquaintance with him, and when in my teen years back in the day. But Kenny's missing from here in Salina, Kansas, since November 4th of 2019. He was 69 when he went missing. He would now be 71. He was 5'9", 175 pounds, gray hair and blue eyes. He does sometimes use the last name Brown instead of his given name of Rightcheck. He does suffer from diminished mental health capabilities and is on disability, but he has not tried to access the funds since he was last seen. He may have family in northwest Kansas, possibly around the Colby area. He was last seen at the Gospel Mission in Salina. He left there and hasn't been seen or heard from since. He does not have a phone or vehicle or any identification. His only mode of transportation was a bicycle that he rode around and pushed around town picking up scrap metal and taking it over to Sline Iron and Metal and cashing that in for a few extra bucks. Because from what I've heard, he had a hard time getting money from his payees on his accounts when he wanted money, so he would pick up scrap and sell it for a few extra bucks here and there. If you have any information regarding Kenny Rychek's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. It's kind of like I was talking about earlier when I was a teenager, probably around 14 to 16 probably. I used to see Kenny like at the corner gas stations and stuff playing pinball and video games, and I'd stand there and chat with him while he was playing and stuff. And he was really a quite good pinball player, but the times that I had talked to him and stuff, I never heard him say a crossword to anybody and anything like that. He was always nice to everybody, always talked to everybody. There were some people that I would hear give him a bad time because of his diminished mental health capabilities and called him some pretty harsh names, which I didn't like, but there's people out there that are like that. I mean, I was bullied in high school myself and called some pretty derogatory names when I was in high school. So, So anyway, but I would really like to see Kenny be found, hopefully safe. But as long as it's been and the harsh winters that we've had and everything, it's hard to stay optimistic in those situations. But I really try to be. I just hope he's out there living his best life wherever he is.
Right. Well, I'm curious to know if the checks are being still sent.
I haven't heard whether they're building up in the bank or if they've stopped, or I haven't heard anything about
or
that.
if they're being spent. We got one case left, and we got a located save for you. Let's go ahead and talk about Donald Walters.
I didn't realize we had him on there, so I'm gonna have to pull his flyer.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I had. That was one of the ones I had added. Because I'm always curious about this one, like the fact that on YouTube this was covered with
very extensively, I might add.
Right. I mean, it's a pretty interesting case, and we haven't talked about him in a while, so I thought tonight would be a Donald Walters kind of night.
Yeah. Waiting on my computer to give it to me here. There it is. He is missing from Great Bend, Kansas, July 7th of 2020. He was 75 when he was missing, and now be 77. He's 5'5" to 5'7" tall, 135 to 150 pounds, gray hair and blue eyes. It said that he does suffer from Alzheimer's. His vehicle was located near Okmulgee and McIntosh County line. I don't think I said that right. Near the Eufaula Wildlife Management Area east of Henrietta, Oklahoma, around July 15, 2020. A search of the area turned up some of Donald's personal items. Again, he was 75 when he went missing, and now be 77. He's 5'5" to 5'7", weighs between 135 and 150 pounds, has gray hair and blue eyes. And like we were talking about just a little bit ago, trying to think of the YouTube, Chilling with Chet, I think is what it's called. He did a very big deep dive into Donald Walters' case. It spanned, I think, 3 videos or 4 videos or something. But I mean, he talked about how he initially met Donald at a drag races in Great Bend, which the 2 pictures of him wearing glasses I screen grabbed from his video of when he met him at Great Bend and drag raced him in his. They both had Porsches, and they drag raced their Porsches there in Great Bend. And after the races, Donald went on his way, and Chet never saw him again. But then he found out later he was missing, and it really piqued his interest. So he really deep dove into Donald's case and found out that he worked for the government for a time and worked developing, kind of like spy gadgets and that kind of thing for the government, and was able to corroborate that because Donald told him. I guess Donald told a friend of his that's what he did, but he was able to deep dive and corroborate that information and stuff. And so, of course, now there's some conspiracy theories out there that maybe the government silenced him because if he was suffering from Alzheimer's, maybe he was going to start rattling off government secrets or something. And I mean, that's just like that's conspiracy theory of some kind. But if anybody has any information on Donald's disappearance, you can call the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office at 918-756-4311 or the Great Bend, Kansas Police Department at 620-793-4120 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And like I said, if you really want to get into his case, real big deep dive, go to the Chillin' with Chet YouTube channel and watch his videos on Donald and what he found out about Donald and everything. It's really interesting. I may have to go back and watch them again to refresh my memory.
All right. Well, we're that's our last case. I am going to play our located safe so we can get out of here in just a few minutes. But yeah, Connie Judd says thanks. I pray Kenny gets found very soon.
You're very welcome, Connie. I do as well. I do too.
All right, well, let's check in with Brandon on this located safe. We'll be right back after this. You're watching KMUpod.com.
I'm still seeing Donald Walters.
Oops, my bad. My bad.
I know. Is that a recent located safe reel? Because I didn't recollect seeing any of the ones that I just posted.
That was the newest one.
And I saw Ashanti McGill on there, and she shouldn't have been on there because she's actively missing. She's not.
Oh,
located.
really?
Yeah.
We'll do a better one next week. But let me see. Yeah, I think that's everything we got, man. We threw everything we had at him.
And Nisi is saying there's a $100,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in Alonzo Brooks's case.
Oh, wow.
Which I think we've covered him before, but it's been a while. Yeah, he went to a party and missing. They're thinking there's, he was African American male, and there was primarily white guys at this party, and they're thinking that may have played into it in some form.
Wow.
From what I've read here and there. But
Wow.
yeah, we haven't covered him in a while.
Yeah, we can cover him next week.
Yeah, because there's 100. I don't know if I have the $100,000 reward. She's got a link to KMBC article from KMBC News in Kansas City.
All right.
So I'll have to check that out.
Well, is there anything else you want to cover? Or?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head at the moment. Not that I can think of. Had a pretty full show tonight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Just thank you guys for being here, and I will do our little customary closing prayer for the show. Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us tonight as we covered these cases, and I just pray as always that we hope they find the right ears and the right hearts that'll do the right thing and call in and help solve these cases and bring some people home and help solve some unsolved homicides as well. Just want to pray that everybody stays safe and stays healthy, and keep their eyes and ears open while they're out and about doing their daily stuff, because this day and age you never know what can happen or where it can happen at. And so until we see each other next Thursday, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, God bless, take care, and amen.
If you or someone you know is experiencing a suicidal crisis or emotional distress, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255.